I've got something new to open. Without further ado, let's get straight into the Amazon box. And this is quite clearly a tripod. It's the second one I've ordered. This one is made by a company called Artcise, which I think is a combination of two different words. There's a lot of Far Eastern tripods around, and they're all very similar. So it does make you wonder if the parts for them are being machined in the same factory. However, I had a disaster with my first order, which was a company called Innorel, I-N-N-O-R-E-L, and the ball head, which is supposed to be smooth and silky, pan and tilt, didn't pan. It was locked solid. So I sent it back. Carried on with research, and I've bought the Artcise. It's a little bit cheaper actually. This one was 237 Canadian dollars plus tax. The Innorel had been 309, so I've saved a little bit of money there, and it looks very similar. So without further ado, let me open it up. It comes in a rather nice nylon bag, which has a carry handle, which looks to be adjustable, and the company logo on the side. So let's get in there. Little zippered pocket inside. Let's see what's in there. Paperwork, some Allen hex wrenches, some little spiky feet. Now these look different from the ones that came with the Innorel, so perhaps I'm doing them an injustice. Maybe they are made in entirely different facilities. But there's a little instruction manual as well. So what's that? It might be something to do with the centre column and a different way of mounting it. Well, we'll find out when we get to it. Something else in there. Let's get that first. I believe this is the second universal tripod mount, also known as an Arca Swiss mount in photographic circles. There's one actually attached, I can see, to the tripod, so this is the second one, which is quite handy if you're switching between two cameras in the same shoot. So let's have a look then, see what this is like. Well, it does bear a lot of resemblance to the other one that I bought. We'll soon see. Folds in on itself, the idea being to save on size. Legs are a bit stiff, but I think they'll probably smooth up a bit when it's been used a bit. There's an adjuster ring here, so you can move the center column up and down. So let's move that right down and lock it. I'll stand it on the little table here. So this is the other universal tripod mount. They look identical, they are identical. Now this is the test. My previous one wouldn't pan. Here goes. Oh, look at that. This is the adjuster knob, so you can actually hold it in position, slacken it off, and it moves. It's very smooth. This is the ball head adjuster, and immediately it drops. So you can have it very slack, or it's actually quite smooth in operation, I have to say. There are levels built into the mounting plate and to the universal tripod mount bolt, so that's handy. So I'm going to have a little play with it and see what it's all about and come back with some initial thoughts. So here's the tripod head holding my Sony RX10. Artcise AS70C is the brand and model. These legs are carbon fibre and there are 4 segments to them. These little latches push in and out to hold the leg in one of several different positions. You can have it fully extended like this, in which case it's 69 inches, I believe. But it will go down to 10 inches because you can spread the leg so that it looks like a 3-legged spider with the legs almost flat on the ground and get your camera very low. So 10 inches to 69 inches is the theoretical height span. It weighs about 4 pounds. Build quality really is very good. And you've got these little indicators that show you locked and unlocked for the legs. And there really is not much more movement than depicted there. And you can have that particular segment locked or unlocked with minimal movement. The center column can be inverted so that you can actually mount the camera upside down with the leg set to very low and photograph macro with the camera almost touching the ground. So all in all, I'm very happy with this. There's a few other little things like a hook on the bottom of the center column for hanging a weight if you're photographing in very, very windy conditions. But the overall feel is of quality and I am most impressed. It's advertised as capable of bearing a weight of 18 kilograms, and honestly, it feels sturdy enough to do that. There's even a little touch like one of the legs has a nice foam grip to it, and that one will actually unscrew and you can use it as a walking pole. I don't know that I'll be doing that a whole lot, but why not? Previously I was using a virtual no-name brand which did the job but wasn't anything like as sturdy and professional as this setup. Anyway, one of my daughters has been getting into photography lately, so I've bequeathed it to her. My new Artcise tripod arrived 16 days ago and I haven't been able to use it. The reason for that stems from this little piece. We looked at this when I unboxed the tripod and I fancied it had something to do with setting the tripod with its legs splayed so it's almost flat on the floor, so you couldn't use the center column unless you wanted it to be this high. Well, I was right. This is what they call the short center column, but it's missing a vital part. Look at this. If I take off the long center column, you can see exactly what's missing. The attachment plate. I didn't really want to return this item because I do like it. So I spoke to Amazon and their suggestion was to return the item and they'd send me out another. But I didn't want to do that either because it only showed us one in stock. To me, that implies there's every chance the one in stock is already a returned item. So I spoke in online chat to Artcise, which you can do, and they agreed. This piece, which actually they called the locking plate, was missing. At first they said, take this one off and put it on that whenever you want to use the tripod in its very low position. Well, I wasn't having any of that, and I said so. I think I should get the full package of what's available, considering what I paid, and the guy did agree in the end. So they promised to send me one. Look what arrived today. I've already opened it, so I know what's inside. And at first, I was rather disappointed because, yes, there's a locking plate, but what it's attached to bears no resemblance to the short center column that I already have. So it occurred to me I could take this one off here. It's just a little grub screw which stops it from unscrewing, and then the locking plate comes off, the bolt inside comes out, and then you have to figure out which way round it's going to go. So I'm going to insert this bolt in the middle of the original short center column, screw on the locking plate like that, reinsert the little grub screw, tighten up the grub screw, and there we have it. That's what your short center column ought to look like. So here's the tripod in its rigid but flat state with the center column removed. So we'll put this one in instead and tighten it up. Now we can install the ball head. Now I can install my camera using the universal mount. Let's tighten it up a bit. And there we are. That's what you should be able to do. And of course you can adjust the pan and the tilt. Isn't that handy? Well, it's taken a while, but I have eventually got where I wanted to be. The whole episode has taken rather longer than it should have done, but I have ended up with what I wanted, and what, in fairness, was advertised. And I seem to have a spare thing like this. Which brings me back to my comment about all these Chinese tripods seeming very similar to each other. I do suspect that things come out of the same factory, and the guy I spoke to just forgot whether he was dealing with K&F Concept Query, InnerL, or Artcise, or Small Rig. There are a few of them, but I like what I've got and I plan to keep it and use it, and I will give them a good review on Amazon, since they did what they said they would do, but frankly all they needed to do was send me a locking plate and bolt. It's a nice tripod, and despite my difficulties getting all the pieces, I would still recommend it.